Hey everyone, it's Mike, and in this video we're going to count down the top 10 melee combatants in A Song of Ice and Fire and HBO's Game of Thrones. We're taking into account actions from both book and show, and that's because the fights are relatively close, at least as far as the ones that serve as common denominators are concerned. The list is compiled based on the accomplishments of the warriors, in primarily battle sequences, as well as notes from the author and some display of combat ability within the show. Alright, kicking off our list at number 10 is the Smiling Knight. He is only mentioned in the show once during season 4 when Joffrey is reading from the Book of Brothers, which is essentially the heroic deeds of all prior Kingsguard, and he's mocking Jaime about not being in there, just basically being Joffrey. Jaime describes him as the mountain of my boyhood, half as big but twice as mad, if that says anything about the measure of that guy's mentality. I've always pictured him as the Joker from Batman, just this insane guy who can go toe-to-toe with almost any adversary. One adversary in this case would be Sir Arthur Dayne, who ended this marauder's tenure with the Kingswood Brotherhood rather abruptly. Number 9, Brienne of Tarth. Wielding the melted-down version of the legendary House Stark Valyrian greatsword Ice, now in the form of Oathkeeper, she bested Sandor Clegane in single combat, which is no small task for anyone. She also won the Great Melee of 116 Knights at Bitterbridge, beating several doubters including the Knight of Flowers Sir Loras Tyrell. You might remember that on the show as the tournament where she pledged her service to Renly. A footnote here on her fight with Jaime Lannister: it's just important to know that Jaime had been injured and enfeebled during his imprisonment by the Starks, not to mention that his hands were chained during the fight, so that's why this scenario does not hold as much weight in the rankings. Number 8 on the list is Gregor Clegane, also known as the Mountain, a monstrosity of a human being whose strength is entirely unparalleled. In one of the most haunting scenes in Game of Thrones, he literally crushes Oberyn Martell's skull like his bones were made out of paper mache. After suffering a poisonous end during combat with Oberyn, Qyburn performed some non-sanctioned maester activities, and Sir Robert Strong emerged as the reanimated abomination of Gregor, who now guards Cersei, Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. Arriving at number 7 on the list is absolutely no one, also known as Jaqen H'ghar. This Braavosi cold-blooded killer leads the guild of assassins that we know as the Faceless Men. And although we haven't seen him in action on the show, we have definitely seen the bodies that he leaves behind. He totally picks off 3 without hesitation in helping Arya escape from Harrenhal, which Harrenhal is in Westeros. Ever wonder what Jaqen was doing in Westeros in the first place? We'll have a video out on what the Faceless Men are up to very, very soon. Number 6 on the list is our friend Jaime Lannister. Pre-amputation, of course. Protege of Sir Arthur Dayne, he actually survives an encounter with the Smiling Knight, who appears at number 10 on the list, and did so at the age of 15. Think back to what you were doing at 15. I'm pretty sure it doesn't involve a Smiling Knight. So we talked about the skirmish with Brienne, and actual book text shows Brienne reflecting on this, thinking that had he been at full strength, he wins easily. So Jaime is one of the most respected knights in the Seven Kingdoms and is fairly legendary for his swordsmanship. Number 5 is Robert Baratheon. Standing at about 6'6", wielding a warhammer that even Ned Stark struggled to pick up, he slew Rhaegar Targaryen in single combat at the Trident. Big, powerful man whose exploits of his battlefield prowess during his rebellion are just simply legendary. Number 4 on the list is Khal Drogo. The Dothraki are fierce warriors, skilled in battle, unrelenting in combat, and just simply known for their savagery. He is a legendary Khal amongst them, undefeated in combat. Need I say more? Alright, so let's find out who cracked our top 3. Coming in at number 3 is Barristan Selmy, legendary Knight of the Kingsguard, more commonly known as Barristan the Bold. During the War of the Ninepenny Kings, Barristan slew Maelys Blackfyre in single combat. He also bested Sir Simon Toyne, leader of the Kingswood Brotherhood, which is the brotherhood the Smiling Knight was pledged to, in single combat. But what Barristan is most known for is a daring rescue mission to retrieve a kidnapped King Aerys in Duskendale. He basically had to pull a Liam Neeson and Taken to rescue him. Stealth kills and extract hostage, totally Delta Force worthy. Need more proof he belongs? This is from George R. R. Martin when asked who would win in a duel between him or Sir Arthur Dayne. So Martin said that if Arthur Dane and a Barristan Selmy in his prime fought with equivalent weaponry, it would be a very even fight. But if Dane was armed with his sword Dawn, he would totally have the advantage over Selmy. Alright, so we're down to the two baddest mofos in Planetos. And coming in at number 2 is Jaehaerys Targaryen. I'm just kidding, but not really, because I'm pretty sure that's his real name. And I'm talking about Jon Snow. Now, I know all of the Jon Snow fanboy haters are lining up around the corner to scoff at this one, but tell me, fanboy haters, who else on this list has fought an other/White Walker and killed him one-on-one? The answer is no one. He is the hero of the assault on Castle Black. That's where the men of the Night's Watch were outnumbered exponentially by Mance Rayder's host. He cuts up a countless amount of enemy combatants with the Valyrian steel blade of Longclaw in the Battle of the Bastards, and this guy is just a true song of ice and fire. How about that, fanboy haters? Okay, so it looks like we've arrived at the number 1 baddest dude from A Song of Ice and Fire. And I'm not including mythical figures like Azor Ahai or any of the other ones mentioned throughout the books, just in case you were wondering, simply because they are kind of myth. They very well may have been real, but there's really no proof to it. So, number 1 on the list, no big surprise, Sir Arthur Dane.
And now it begins.
Better than my father.
Far better.
The Sword of the Morning, wielding the legendary sword Dawn that was forged using metal from a fallen meteor. Legendary Knight of the Kingsguard defeated the Laughing Knight in single combat. Bested Ned Stark in single combat until Howland Reed saved him. And Ned Stark refers to him as the finest knight he had ever seen. And we also have multiple accounts of everyone just basically saying this guy was like a weapon of mass destruction. Just completely unparalleled with his swordsmanship. So that wraps it up for our list. And there were several deserving combatants that were left off of here. Really tough to make a top 10, but I'd love to see what your top 10 would be. Just drop it down in the comment section below. And we're also going to be doing a lot of theory crafting on different theories within A Song of Ice and Fire and a couple of other cool videos too. So make sure you click the subscribe button so we can let you know whenever these videos are posted. Otherwise, look forward to seeing you back here and take care.